Hi everyone, I'm Lyanne with Diamante Realtors in La Paz, Baja California Sur. Today we're at the beautiful San Juan Social Club, which is soon to be the San Juan Pickleball Club. And I'm here with Jason Dillon. Hi Jason.
Hello, how are you doing, Lyanne?
I'm great, thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
Jason's a fellow Canadian living here in La Paz, and he's a huge pickleball advocate and has been a past president and a lobbyist for pickleball in Canada.
Yep.
And he and a group of like-minded people have gotten together and have decided to pursue this beautiful pickleball club. So why don't you tell us what pickleball is and about its growing popularity?
Sure. So it's kind of a crazy story actually, because two guys named Pritchard and Bell came up with this sport in 1965. Bored sitting around their cottage trying to figure out something to do. They had an old badminton court. They cut some paddles out of some plywood, grabbed a wiffle ball, and came up with pickleball. The story behind the name of pickleball is they had a dog named Pickle that used to chase the ball every time it got away from them. And thus the sport began, but it sat idle for years, or decades actually. And it wasn't until probably the last 15 years that pickleball started to pick up as a sport and really get going. Where it's gone from there is just absolutely staggering. Basically, if you look at people playing in the United States alone, back in 2020, so you're only going back 3 years, there was 4.4 million players.
Wow.
There's now 48.3 million players in 3 extra years.
10 times.
Yeah, 1,000% increase. Canada's got 5 million players. There's literally over 80 countries around the world that are playing pickleball now, and it's become a professional sport. There's professional teams playing, excuse me, and there is large grandstands and huge complexes built all over North America. So it is really, really taken off in popularity. It's a highly addictive sport. It's very, very social and fun, and it can be played by all ages. So started off as basically an older person sport, but now there are kids playing it in Ontario, many places across Canada. We've lobbied the school boards, and it's now in their PE program. They've done that in the US as well. And so you've got kids playing it, you've got all sorts of teenagers playing it that are now professionals. The #1 professional female in the world is 16 years old.
Wow.
So the average age of the players has come down from in the 60s to in the 40s. And there are multi-millions of people playing it all across the world. So it's really exploded.
Mm-hmm. I just started playing last year, and I can attest to the fact that it is addictive. Yeah. And a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it's a tremendous amount of fun.
So Jason,
yes,
tell us about this project and how it became to be.
Okay, well, ideally, my wife and I moved down here a little while ago looking for places to play pickleball, and although there are some in Pedregal and another place in La Paz, geographically it was a little far for us to drive. We were trying to look for something a little more local, and there really wasn't anything. Started playing with some local players, and a buddy that I've met here, Kelly Lay, him and I decided to actively pursue trying to either build or retrofit a present complex so that we can actually have pickleball courts. So it kind of became a quest of ours. We looked at buying land and developing, and we looked at getting municipal land and developing. And in this situation, we came across San Juan Social Club, which is a kind of a banquet hall. They do weddings, they do all sorts of things here. It's a phenomenal space. And they had existing tennis courts that they had built for their kids years ago that are just not being utilized to their potential. So we decided this was the place to start. So we met with the Juarez family, the owners, and I had presented a PowerPoint presentation to them, very detailed, showing them the popularity of the sport, various types of courts that have been built around the world. We did financials for them, and in the end, they were really, really excited, and they were fully on board with the project, and they were committed to build something really unique and beautiful for La Paz. So that's kind of how it started, and then from there, we've just been getting ready in the planning stages, and we've just gotten started here, and construction's really going to start rolling here in the next 2 weeks or so.
Okay, so how many courts are they planning to build?
So there are existing tennis courts here. We are utilizing 2 of those courts to get started as a retrofit. So we are going to do 6 brand new refurbished courts and they'll all have permanent nets. They'll all have individual fences and gates, and we'll show you shortly where that is. And then there is a large open parking area that we're building another 6 brand new courts, again with individual fencing and gates. Everything will have walkways, shaded covered areas with sitting. There'll be a cantina, so you can get food and drinks, and there'll be a pull-opus outside of that with a with a shaded area for with a TV and benches and seating. There'll be even an on-staff massage therapist and physiotherapist, which I've never even heard of a club having that. So it's really cool. The other thing that's really unique about this property is the property itself is absolutely stunning, and it's so massive. And even in this area where you can see right now where we're standing, this is one of the reception courtyards, and you can see it's all shaded with sails, and in the back there's a stage. So when we host tournaments here, which we will, we can have fantastic closing tournament parties here in this area with a band in the background. There's all sorts of washroom facilities. There's a banquet hall where we can seat 150 to 200 people for dinners. So it's going to be a really, really unique club and an incredible addition to La Paz.
Sounds like a world-class facility.
World-class, and the Juarez family has been really on board with this, and they want to make this really spectacular. So we're very excited.
We're excited too. Yeah. I know a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a club?
Yes, yeah. So I've sat on a board before. I've been in, this will be my 6th club that I've played in since I started playing pickleball in 2015. I've been past president of a club, and so I've kind of taken the reins on this one. And we are developing our own pickleball club here. I'll be sitting as president for the first couple of years, and Kelly Lay, who's been helping me all along, he'll be vice president and then eventually move into my spot. So we have an executive board. We've already developed our constitution and bylaws and code of conduct play. And yeah, so we're pretty much getting ready to go. Once this is open in November, the club will be established, and we'll be helping new members with everything from free beginners lessons to learn how to play pickleball.
Okay, that was one of my other questions.
Yeah.
Were there going to be lessons available?
Yeah, there'll be lessons. There'll be not only lessons to get them started, but as they get better, there'll be clinics that we'll run, and those clinics will also be free for members to get their skills improved so they can move up, because there's a rating system. When you start playing, it goes from 1 to 5, 5 being the best, and players can move up in rating so they can move to a better classification of court and play with players that are, in their own realm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And who can be members?
Anybody. It's wide open. We're taking memberships, and we're hoping a lot of the locals here from La Paz will become members. There's a number of expats. We've already got a long list of people that are joining, and we should have some good numbers by the time we're done.
Okay. What are your monthly fees or your annual dues?
So the fees that are set up are basically, we've done a 3-month fee, a 6-month fee, and an annual membership. And we also have drop-in fees. So how it works is if let's say you're here on vacation and you want to drop in and play, you can play for 150 pesos. If you're a member, you can buy a membership. A 3-month membership is 3,500 pesos, plus an additional set of fees, a smaller set of fees that go to the club. And then 5,000 pesos for a 6-month, again, some additional fees on top of that. And then 7,000 pesos gets you an annual, again, with some additional fees. But all very reasonable. Even an annual membership works out to about $400 a year.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah.
What do you think the cost to join a club in Canada would be?
There are some clubs. There's one in Kitchener, Ontario right now and you can play all year because it's indoors. There's an initiation fee, and then there's a monthly bar tab fee that you have to keep.
Oh, just like a golf club.
Just like a golf club, and then there's your annual membership, and to get started, you're probably in the $7,500 range.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's getting quite costly. This is very, very economical, and they're going to have probably one of the best facilities in the country, if not certainly even North America.
Wow. So Jason,
yes.
What efforts are being put forth to engage the local community in the club?
It's a great question. So when we first approached the Juarez family, I spoke to Ricardo, one of the owners, and I told him it was important to me that since we're basically immigrants in this country and we feel very fortunate to be here, that it was important to me that we engage the local community as best we can, and even if to the point where we can help financially. So we've discussed a great number of options, and so in the future we're looking at doing certain days where we may throw together a kids camp and bring in local children and teach them the game of pickleball, all free of charge. I'm trying to get paddles donated right now from my old club in British Columbia, and see if some of those players will send some down. We're trying to get that organized. We'll buy some smaller or some cheaper paddles for the kids. Anyway, the long story there is just to try and get them in here, get them to learn the game, and let them have some fun. The other thing we've talked about is on certain holidays, like maybe Mother's Day, Christmas, we plan on doing an open family day here. So all the local families can come in, and we want to get prizes donated, and we want to have games for the kids where they can play some pickleball, maybe hit a ball into a hoop, that kind of stuff, and they win a prize. So yeah, I think we've got some fun things planned for the local community, and also very fun social evenings that we plan on doing here for any member that's present. So we want to do maybe ladder play at night, and then drinks and food afterwards. Try and engage everybody.
This could be like a curling club down south.
Yeah, with a little more heat.
So when do you think this will all be completed and ready for membership? Okay,
so we've been doing a lot of prep work, and at this point in time, we have a gate over here that's being built. It's going to have glass entry and exit. It'll have face recognition software programs. So you walk in, it recognizes who you are. You're either allowed or you're not. We've been extending some of the courts, putting in concrete, putting in fence posts. Everything's just kind of prep work right now. In the next 2 weeks, we're getting started with the major construction. So they'll be refurbishing the first 6 courts, and they'll be pouring concrete for the next 6 courts. And that's all going to get underway shortly, and then we hope to be ready by early November.
Early November?
Yeah.
Not too far away.
No, it'll be close. Yeah.
That's great.
That's pretty much when, especially the snowbirds start coming back, right?
Exactly.
So we want to make sure we're ready for when everybody gets back here that are immigrants, expats. When they get down here, they'll have a court to play at, and then the locals, well, they're here all year. So
excellent.
Yeah, when we're open, we're open.
So are some of us.
Yeah.
Jason, as a real estate agent, I get asked a lot of questions from my foreign buyers, and the one question that pops up time and time again is, how's the pickleball scene?
Yes.
Where can we play? And up until now, I've had to say, well, there's a few courts here and there, and there's a few informal groups that get together. But with this, how do you think this is going to change pickleball in La Paz, and how do you think it will be for real estate in La Paz?
Oh, it'll be staggering. It's there have been studies done across the U.S. that show pickleball players will actually move to a location based on the availability of a good pickleball facility.
Wow.
If you don't have one, they don't go there. So in a lot of the presentations I've done to government, to cities, basically that's one of the things I tell them. If you want more growth here, you need good pickleball facilities, and we show them the studies, because people will move to a location based on that. When we chose to move down here, that was one of the things we looked at. We almost went to Los Brillos because they have a wonderful pickleball center there, and we thought about going there because of Pickleball La Paz, and then we just decided kind of more in this area for a few other reasons, and hospitals and that kind of stuff. And we thought this will be the way, but once we got here, this is why I'm actively pursuing to get this complex up and running.
Well, we're really appreciative of it, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So do you think we can come back when it's finished and check it out?
Yeah, I hope so, because it's kind of messy right now, but we are hoping to have a grand opening in December. And it'll be, we'll have balloons and parties and everything going on. So that would be a great time to come back, and then you can see the new courts that are built and the whole facility as it stands. So why don't we shoot for maybe a December 2nd part.
I will be there for a party. It's been a pleasure talking with you, Jason. Thank you so much for telling us all about La Paz Pickleball Club. We can't wait for it to happen.
You're very welcome. It was
Thanks.
my pleasure.
Take care. We'll see you at the grand opening.
Thank you.